I need. Oh, what's up, everybody? We live. Um, I think I need like sticky notes on my monitor because now I have like sponsors to recognize and probably like other notes and stuff to start a show. And I suck at introduction. So today on the show, ladies and gentlemen, we got Angela Schroeder from Unique Genius VA, and we got our boy. I want to point this way because you're over here on my screen, Jai, but right now you're over here. We got our producer man, Jai guy, in the house. Who's over there. Looks like he's over here, but he's actually over there.
Before you start, let's
Yeah.
roll in the intro.
Oh, light it up. Welcome to Home Service Happy Hour, brought to you by Service Monster. A bit of a golf clap. It's a bit of a golf clap we got going on there. That's cool. Oh yeah, I gotta make this thing public, and then I gotta do a shout out to our sponsor here before we get into it.
Stream to my audience, and you got to remind all of us on the show to stream it to our audience.
Oh yeah, hey everybody! While you're out here, go ahead and stream this to your audience like that, Angela. How'd I do? Is that good? Mm-hmm. No, she can't even hear me because she's busy streaming to her audience. Give it a like, give it a share. I'm making this video public right now because it loves to default. It just defaults to the private, but now it's public. So if you're out there watching it, go ahead and share it. Share it on your page if you think this is cool. Share it in a group. For sure, drop some comments and just check in. Say what's going on. Where are you coming in from? What are you working on today? It's happy hour after all. Angela, you got anything to stay refreshed over there? You staying refreshed? Is that a Corona with a lime in it?
It is.
I got me a little whiskey and Coca-Cola in here. Denit's in the house. What's happening, Denit? I got to do a thing that I usually. This is why I need sticky notes. Is because I'm gonna totally forget to do this. Well, Angela's forgetting to dance. I'm forgetting all the cool graphics and stuff. Shout out to Joel, our designer dude that makes just all this cool stuff and makes me look way cooler than I am. Gosh, I can't point at my background because it's always opposite. Over here, guy, we should tell Joel to move. I might have messaged him about it. We should have him move that up. Maybe put it up over here since it's the Service Monster QR code. There's all kinds of things going on. But that leads me to my next thing, which is we are officially sponsored by, partnered with Service Monster, who's bringing you this podcast. But I got some things to say about Service Monster. Had those guys on last week for our like late night happy hour episode, and it was friggin' awesome. I think it's one of my highest viewed, if not the highest viewed episode we have so far, just on our like Facebook feed. Super cool dudes, super cool stories, super cool CRM. And I got some things to say about it. But as always, in addition to Service Monster, this podcast is brought to you by moi, Dan Plata, Best Damn Bookkeeping, Home Service CFO. It is brought to you by Angela Schroeder and Unique Genius VAs. Half my damn team comes from Unique Genius VAs. All of our bookkeeping comes from Unique Genius VAs. And so shout out to the in-person supporters that are here bringing it to you right now. Thanks, Angela. And Jai, of course. Shout out to Jai. I always shout out to Jai. Because literally, Jai is the one that brings this to you. Because if Jai doesn't exist, this podcast doesn't exist. So like literally, Jai brings this to you. I just gotta say that. So quick shout out Service Monster. One of the things, and this is super relevant why I want to talk about it right now. Zach, I think, who kind of leads their sales department, if you want to call them that, expectations setting department is what I would call it. Zach last week on the show had talked about how Service Monster works really good for seasonal. Oh, did it happen again? Did he get you again? Where did that come from? Where was that? How did that happen?
Again, you just opened the door to the office and
it was so loud. Nice. That looks good. It's a good little woohoo. I thought you were really pumped about our new sponsor, Service Monster. But it turns out JC just confettied the shit out of you is what actually happened.
Including look at my.
Yeah, you're gonna want to pull those out. I don't think the Corona goes good with confetti in it.
Tell JC he got us too.
Yeah, I didn't. I was like surprised, but
I was surprised as well.
I think it was so loud over there that Angela's microphone even like cut out. It was it was like too loud. It gave the microphone a shock. But
let's try it again.
as I was saying before, JC so rudely made Angela interrupt me. I think, is that what happened? Yeah, I think that was what happened.
Yeah.
So when Zach was on from Service Monster last week talking about their CRM and what it works great for, one of the things he said that I think is super time relevant is if you are in a seasonal business, and a bunch of you are watching what Jared Chinowski is doing, like it's holiday like go time. And if you don't have a CRM for that yet, and you are just getting into holiday lights, holy shit, it is time. Like waste no time. While I'm here talking to you, go start looking for a CRM for the love of God, because as you start getting leads, you're going to need a place to store them and reach back out to them and route jobs and whatever else you're doing. So if you don't have a CRM yet, like don't wait any longer. If you're entering a seasonal space like holiday lighting, go get it. If you do have a CRM, go check out Service Monster. For the love of God, don't try to switch it right now. Like it's the fall season. Don't try to change the tires on your car while it's rolling. Don't try to change CRM while you're operating. Wait till the slowest time of your year to change your CRM. If you're in the North Woods like me, our window cleaning, pressure washing, and our maid service businesses that we would always wait till the holidays, wintertime, when things were like dead, if not, downright shut down. And then we would change stuff like that. So if you're in the market, don't do it now. Don't change it now. Only go get Service Monster right now if you're seasonally doing something like holiday lights and you need something right now. And a lot of CRMs aren't built for, hey, we know you're going to just go 2-3 months hard at this and then you're going to slow it down. Like Service Monster has plans so you can do that and ebb and flow and go up and down in their packages. You don't just sign up for a year at $400 a month. They have like really scaled packages for all types of businesses, and you can go back and forth between them. It's freaking awesome. Like they are here for you guys. And I think they made that really clear last week when they were on, is like the only reason they exist and their number one goal is to help their customers. It's not private equity. Let's pile up a bunch of money so we can get a bigger multiple when we sell. Not that there's anything wrong with doing that, but those aren't my type of people. So go check out Service Monster, because those are my type of people, and had a super fun time last week having those guys on the show. Zig Scott wants to know, when are we podcasting? Jai, I bet when there's a comment that you and I are going to click on, I bet more than half the time we both click on it. Like for sure. And I like that about us. I like that. That just says like you and I are just we're thinking the same way. I don't think that's a bad thing. We're just going to laugh every time that we do it. It's super fun. But Zig wants to know when we're doing a podcast. Zig, there's a couple podcasts that I want to do. One is we just got to tell hunting stories. We'll do that once we have some hunting stories. In a month, I might have some elk hunting stories from hanging out with Ben out in Arizona. We'll see. And we could probably do one talking about hunting plans too, man. There's all sorts of ways to go with it. But I also, as like your kids are getting into hunting and your wife is kind of getting into hunting, and Marty's trying to shoot her first deer with a bow this year. She shot one last year. We just didn't find it. That's like probably the best experience you can have as a hunter is to fail like that. And especially, I mean, it's one thing to miss a deer. It's another thing to hit it and not find it. Like that feels the worst. It's awful, but it's part of hunting. And so you need to get that experience at some point in time. What's up, Jacob Dale? Thanks for checking in, man. So anyway, Zig, I think there's probably a podcast in our future with our spouses to talk about getting your family in the outdoors, because I think that's a super, super important element.
Angela, I'm doing it kind of the opposite way. I love hunting and JC on board.
Yeah, Angela's coming at it from the other way, which is let's get JC in this mix. Once that dude grabs a bow and drags an animal out of the woods after shooting it, he's gonna be running around, rolling around in molasses, and then leaves running through the woods with a recurve. He's gonna be just all about it. Yeah, Zig, let's plan on one. Maybe we'll do one in like October. We'll do a little mid hunting season recap and get the spouses on it. So it's fall time. We got to talk fall push. It's like go time. It's time to rack up as much money as humanly possible. So we got to talk about that. But I've been and this is always happens this time of year whenever we're in an election year, is you have a bunch of arguments in your head that you're never going to have with anybody, most likely. Or if you do have them, you're going to have them on social media, and you're going to leave that conversation really angry, and you're going to have a bunch of other people leave that conversation really angry. And so I was out running, and your mind's solving all the problems in the world. And it just tends to be when you're getting annoyed by political ads day and night, your brain works on all of your solutions to all of these stupid ass problems that we create for ourselves. And I never want to run for office. What an awful job. I can't even imagine. Like, not, and if you look at who is running in a lot of cases, you're like, yeah, you'd have to be that crazy. Like, that's why, like, look at our options. They're not great, but you got to be crazy to run for office. You got to be. You got to be nuts. There's got to be just like some monumental ego thing that would cause you to even throw your hat into that ring. But I'm always torn on this. I don't know how long ago this was, Angela, but we did an episode on, I think it was a 2-parter on my love and hate of social media and all the good and the bad about it. And one of the awful things about it is this like polarization of political stuff. Just nobody wins. Everybody loses when politics is on social media. Like, everybody loses, because all that happens is you drive a bigger wedge. Like, nobody who's conservative is being, if there's a liberal person trying to convince them to why they should be more liberal, no conservative person is being like, you know what, you're right. Every conservative person I ever see chime in on anything that a liberal's dropping is just driving a wedge, right? Keyboard warrior in it. And it's the exact same on the opposite side. If there's a conservative person that makes a post, any liberal person isn't like, you're right. The liberal person's just digging their heels in more. And it just, and the nature of social media is it just drives this wedge. Now, there's a little tangent that I got to hit on here. Because recently we were just talking about my fear that AI is going to be the end of happiness as we know it. And I think that's a really big, like, red flag. Like, all of that and what you see on your feed, that's AI. That's AI making us all unhappy. That it's smashing that in our faces, right? It's nobody leaves those interactions in a good mood. You always leave them angry. Anything you read like that, you're always angry about it. Sometimes there's a funny one, but AI has to let you see a funny one or two just to keep you coming back. But they get you hooked in with like the gross ones that offend you or are offending somebody else or making you like riled up. And I had also said, and I still, this is just going to happen because the Matrix is real. At some point, AI is going to be the end of all of us. But know this: AI has seen the movie I, Robot, and AI knows that we're onto the robots, and so AI knows that humans are like, oh, someday there's going to be a war with the robots. AI is going to cause a war between all of us. You already see it happening. That's why it drives the political wedge. We're getting into a little bit of conspiracy theory here, but AI is driving this political wedge, right, to try to get civil wars to happen. You see wars breaking out in other places, and it's all just based on our beliefs, and AI ramping up our beliefs against one another, right? They're going to cause humans to kill themselves. AI doesn't need to kill us. We'll kill ourselves. They don't need to send robots to come and get us. There's not going to be a robot versus human war. We're going to wipe ourselves out, and then AI can run the rest of the world from there. That's what's going to happen. I'm just Nostradamus over here is who I am. That's what's going to happen. And I don't have a solution for that, by the way. My solution is more on like petty little political problems. But here's a funny thing that I see. There are a lot of things. I'm going to stop talking at some point here and ask for your guys' opinions. But right now, I still have more.
We're loving it.
This is pure entertainment. This is why this is a business entertainment podcast.
And a great conspiracy theory at that.
That was a good one. That was all me just out running 4.5 miles. Right.
It would have been good if Michael was on too.
Oh yeah, I'm glad he's at the dentist right now. He just has to listen to all this. Hold on, before I get into the political piece of it, Zig said, before you knew me, I used to get really involved in politics on Facebook. My posts would regularly have hundreds of comments on them, and I fed off of it like a drug, but realized one day that it was doing was causing negativity in my life in so many places. gave it all up in 2020. So yeah, gave it all up. Like I quit cold turkey. Sounds like, like I went to AA for this thing. Aside from the occasional story post on politics and no engagement on comments, life is way better when you just leave that stuff private. And it's such a weird double-edged sword, because anytime we talk politics on here, I tend to like try to avoid it because I don't feel like anybody wins with it. But Sean Day always says, this is what we should be talking about. Like, this is the most important stuff we have going on. These decisions are very important. And so he's not wrong. I just think we suck at it, right? I think we suck at talking about it because it's on social media, because it's AI. I kind of wonder if Facebook even has any clue how it gets out in front of us. I think they're just like, well, I guess the AI is just running the show here and we're just going to act like we know what's going on. I don't know. Like more conspiracy theory. But on the political end, I don't know how to what's up, Vitaly? What's happening, man? Thanks for checking in, dude. I hope you guys are still staying busy as hell. I don't know how to solve like the issue that social media plays in politics, because it's not a good one. I don't see it really helping. But I do find there's all these things that get wrapped into politics. Vitaly wants to know when I'm coming for ice fishing. When are you coming for ice fishing? We trade some ice fishing. We're gonna trade some ice fishing trips is what we're gonna do. But there's all these
funny political social media thing. I mean, it isn't that or us posting a thing, but I think it was interesting.
Yeah.
JC got us shirts. I don't know if you saw him.
I totally did.
Convicted felon, and then the checkbox with convicted felon. There were more responses on that. I mean, all we did is take a picture in the shirts, right? Most people thought it was hilarious, but it is incredible the people, all that he posts on social media, travel, good things, business, our engagement. How many people that like, and that are my friends, not him, like chimed in and had an opinion about that.
Right.
But not celebrating anything else in your business or your life.
Yeah. It's so funny. It just draws the worst out of people.
Oh, the worst. People arguing and just the worst. It brought the worst set of people arguing on that thread.
Yeah.
That post is great for engagement, but doesn't really, serve you good.
But that's the problem. Then like Facebook is like, more people need to see this one. People are really getting fired up and pissed off at each other for this one, right? And so then it promotes it. Again, I don't think Facebook even knows what's happening anymore. I think it's just the AI doing the AI stuff. Like, how can we get these humans to kill each other faster?
It's funny because I mean, I'm a little more like that, Jai, like, oh, let's not be controversial and put our opinion out. And really, to Sean Day's point, when we believe about something, when we support a sports team, or we support our favorite, we support Service Monster. Yeah. We support, like, we're out there wearing a shirt, telling people we like it, that this is our team. Yeah. Why does it have to be so evil and dividing?
Yeah,
That's what I told Dan and the guys. I think it was Hecubus. Like, think before you click the thing that I said.
Yeah.
People that commented on your post maybe weren't really,
That's the best reply. Think before you click.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you need to reply to them. Like when somebody's being a dumbass, that's the reply. Think before you click, man. Like, would your kids be proud that you posted this? Is this going to make your kids proud? I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know. But here's a thing that I find is really interesting that causes issues to keep coming back up. I think gun control is a huge one like this. I think abortion is a huge one like this. I'm sure there's dozens of these, but there's things that we can all agree on big time, and those get written into law, right? Murder, stealing, things like that. And there's some interpretation of what the punishment needs to be when things are starkly wrong. But then there's all these things where as a society, we don't know. We have opinions, but there's no right answer. And you can tell there's no right answer because it's damn near 50-50, right? And yeah, there's the extremists who are like, there is a right answer and it's this. And it's like, okay, yeah, to you, except clearly not, because if that was the case, then why would 50% of people lean the other way? And in my mind, those are the things that are almost irrelevant from a political standpoint. I'm not saying they don't have a place. I'm just saying our politicians shouldn't handle that stuff. That, like, there's no win, right? Nobody's going to win. The politicians should be working on stuff that's 60 to 70 plus percent. Yeah, everybody's on board with this. Like, this is better for society. There's all these opinion things that get wrapped into politics and cause it to go nowhere and cause us to and parties. I think the two-party system is kind of a problem because of this now. But they like have to claim a position on it, right? And there's so many more opinions than just two, right? But oh man, if you're going to run for the Conservative Party, you better be anti-abortion. You better be like combination of church and state. You better be X, Y, and Z. And it's like, well, I don't know. Like, I'm probably a little more conservative than I am liberal, but I'm not aligned with any of that stuff. I just don't care about it the way I care about economics and what my tax dollars get used for. Like, I care way more about that. I really don't care who marries who. Like, why is that a political issue? It's one of those things where it's like, why is our government telling, when it's not going to hurt anybody else, right? And abortion that's a really touchy one, right? Obviously, but a gay marriage sort of thing where it's just like, why are we trying to tell people what to do? We're like we're drawn into these weird ass things that politics have no room in. Skip, this is Skip used a nomenclature I like to use in our business. Don't politic for the sake of politicking. I always say don't do accounting for the sake of doing accounting. Like, if we're gonna do accounting, it better be helping our clients out. So don't politic for the sake of politicking. But it got me. So here's my solution, because I don't like when we spend time talking about gun control. I don't like when we spend time talking about abortion. We're never going to win. It's going to divide us all, and nobody's right and nobody's wrong. There is no right answer. What I do think, though, is for these types of issues, and one, there's a bunch that come up that are like hunting regulation related. And I'm like, why is this a political thing? Like, people can bring hunting regulations to ballot boxes. We shouldn't be voting on hunting regulations. We hire professionals in the Department of Natural Resources within states to manage these. Like, we already have professional groups that manage wildlife that are really freaking good at it. They know a lot more than we do. It's their job. And yet they're trying to like ban hunting in states because like anti-hunting groups want to put it on a ballot. That's not fucking politics. Like, that has nothing to do with the health of nature, right? Hunting is one of the best things you can do in nature. It's one of the biggest generation of conservation dollars there is. We have like programs for this. There's just no education around it. So there's a bunch of idiots running around like anti-hunting, trying to get shit through politics to be banned when they know nothing about it. And so I feel like for any of these things, aside, you vote for a president, you vote for your senators and congressmen and women. And after that, any of these issues-based things, there should be a panel. And the panel has to be 50-50. Has to be half. If we're going to stick with this two-party system, any of these decisions that are impossible, it has to be 50-50. We'll say 20 from each party. I don't know, 10 from each party, whatever it is. And they can't be, if they let's say there's some independence in there. Well, they would have had to be voting independent their entire life, right? If they claim to be an independent, but they voted as a conservative or voted as a Democrat their entire life, like, they would fill one of those seats. The Democratic seats need to be filled by conservatives, and the conservative seats need to be filled by liberals. They have to vote for who on the other party they think they could get work done with, right? And so conservatives don't get to vote for conservatives. Conservatives can only vote for the liberals, and the liberals can only vote for the conservatives. And I don't know exactly how that shakes out, but my idea is that the problem is we get these huge polar opposites and nothing gets done, and crazier ideas just keep getting fought with crazier ideas, right? And there's a stalemate of stupidity. And no one getting any dollars from anything that has to do with the issue, right? We waste so much time and money fighting issues that can't be won. And I feel like if you brought gun control to let's just use gun control. I think everybody wants better gun control, but the conservatives won't give an inch because they're afraid that's going to slippery slope, right? And then the anti-gun people are going to take them all away, and the government's going to come and seize all of our guns. Like, that is what's going through the head of a conservative person when they hear about gun control. And yet, I think it's fair to say, like, does anybody want guns in the hands of people that shouldn't have a gun, that are like unlicensed, unsafe, don't know how to use it, bought it over the counter? No. But I'm not letting them take guns, right? I don't want the government taking all my guns. We have a right to our guns, blah, 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 blah. And if you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile, right? That's because it's the polar opposites arguing, making the decisions. But what if the liberal people got to choose the conservatives and we're like, hey, yeah, we want to get this gun control thing in place. We need to choose conservative people that understand the value of gun control, and the conservative people that are like, hey, we need our guns. But I need to choose some liberal people that aren't going to try to take my guns away, right? Who are some liberal people that like to go hunting, that like to shoot for fun? And let's make decisions with those people. If we could find a way where the liberals get to pull, I'm not saying you would do this at the presidential level or even senators or congressmen. But if you could do it in like committees for issue-based things, instead of opening it up and trying to pass a 300-page bill with all a bunch of jack shit in it that they keep trying to like slide poison pills and whatever else you want to call it through. If you could do issues like that on a committee basis, and each side got to vote for the counterparts, right? Each side got to choose the other side. They wouldn't choose the most extreme people. They would choose the people in the middle, which is the best representation of all of us normal fucking people that actually want to have a good government, and not all you crazy ass people that are way on the outsides. And so that's my idea. We just got to get back to the middle. Social media keeps driving everybody to these like crazy polar opposites, and we're all going to kill each other because AI is doing this to us. I'm just telling you. Hashtag Dan doesn't trust AI. But if we could come up with a mechanism like that, and I'm not saying I got it figured out. I did say I had it figured out, actually. I do have it figured out. This is what we need to do. But if we could get the middle people to work together and come up with decisions and come up with a compromise and be like, this is what we're doing. Here's the gun control law, right? If people that owned guns got to write the gun control law, and then the other side got to say, yep, we're good with that, then we can just all move past it and say, we got the solution, right? If the people that were anti-abortion, if that rule got written by the people that were pro-abortion, and then they got to approve it, right? You get a middle ground. I don't care what the issue is. If you got the people that weren't way at the outskirts, yelling, screaming, and calling everybody else a liar, right? If you got the most normal people in the middle and said, you guys collaborate on it, and they voted for each other, and they got to pick. And of course, like, the person on the left is going to pick the person closest to the middle on the right, and vice versa. Now we're going to actually get some shit done. Caesar says Kanye 2024. That guy is right in the middle. That's a middle grounder if I've ever seen one. Anyway, I was about to say I don't know what the solution is. I do know what the solution is. That's what it is. I don't know how we implement it in our government to handle these issues that are like totally 50-50 and waste everybody's time and money. And I think this is a weird thing too. And then I'm going to get off my rant and I'm going to pause so that we can put a commercial break in here later. There's so many people I know that vote for like the president based on these issues. And again, what I'm saying is these shouldn't even be in politics. These are no-win, 50-50 coin flips at best. There is no right answer. And my mother-in-law is one of them. She's sitting out in my backyard right now, sitting by the pool. She votes conservative. If you just met her and knew her, you'd be like, oh, she's totally liberal. She votes conservative every year for one reason: abortion. She's pro-life. She can't get past it. I think if you took abortion as a whole off the table, if it wasn't even a thing we ever talked about anymore, like slavery, just take it off the table. Just make it a thing we never talk about anymore. We talk about it in history class, but we know it's wrong. We know we're past it. Now, everybody that voted based on abortion gets to vote for reasons that, like, we don't need to get stuck on, right? Everybody that was voting based on gun control can now vote on issues that we don't need to get stuck on. And I just feel like there's a lot of votes getting like blindly put in places because it's like, well, here's my one issue out of 1,000. It has nothing to do with running our country better. It has nothing to do with creating opportunity for 300, 400 million people. It's just this one issue. And I'm going to vote all my votes based on this one issue. And not saying they're wrong, right? That's right to them. But I'm just saying it shouldn't be an issue. It shouldn't even be a thing that we have to worry about. We just need people in the middle to come together and figure these things out for us so we can just keep moving on. Moving on then. Huh? How about that? I figured all that out. Today on a 4.5 mile run.
Oh, yeah. We got some sound effects.
Kanye 2024. That's what's up. All right, we actually do need to talk about the fall push. Should we play commercials, Jai, or should we just put them back? Do we just put them back in later?
I think we should. I don't know. It's up to you. It's your show.
Let's play a quick commercial break. Let's give them some live love for the sponsors of Turfs Up Radio. We'll be back with a little more home service happy hour right here on Turfs Up Radio. Home service happy hour that is brought to you by Service Monster. It's up here now. I'm gonna get this inversion thing figured out someday. And then there's the QR code down here if you want to check it out. Service Monster. Check it out. We'll be back. Cheers.
Landscapers, had enough of disjointed and outdated software? Upgrade to Aspire and say goodbye to estimating, scheduling, and routing frustrations. With Aspire, it's smooth sailing. Work orders? Handled. Mobile access? Done. Invoicing, payments, and real-time reporting? It's covered. Aspire's got your back. Why settle? You deserve software that works just as hard as you do. Learn more at youraspire.com. That's youraspire.com.
You're listening to Turfs Up Radio, the only radio station of its kind dedicated to the green industry. Now you can even ask Alexa to tune you in when you're home.
True Fuel is a high-octane fuel precision-engineered for your 2- and 4-cycle equipment. They use the most advanced synthetic lubricants and stabilizers in an ethanol-free fuel, improving performance, protecting your equipment, and saving you time. That means easier startups, smoother idling, and quicker trigger response, plus extended life for all of your equipment. True Fuel is ready to use and easy to store, helping your operations be more efficient and reducing maintenance costs. We at Turfs Up use True Fuel because we know it works and we know it's the best option. Check out TrueFuel50.com to learn more. That's TrueFuel50.com.
From the East Coast to the West Coast and around the world, here's to all the women in the green industry. Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Everybody, sorry about my political rant there. Felt good though. Felt good.
Oh, it was good. It was like an entertainment.
Yeah, Sean stayed out until I was done with that. He's like, I don't even want to be a part of this thing. Dan's going off on politics again.
I would have loved it, but it would have, probably not been good.
I don't know. I think you would have liked it. You have to go back and listen to it. If you didn't catch it, you're gonna have to go back and listen to it. Let me know if I'm crazy. You already know. You already know I'm crazy. You already know I'm crazy.
You got your spots. You got your spots.
I mean, it did go into. I mean, it just was all direction. I mean, we started somewhere, and we started somewhere a little crazy. It got more defined.
Yeah, I first went into my conspiracy about, Sean's got to hear this. How AI is actually going to kill us all. How, you want to know how?
quick. Yep.
So what I prefaced it by saying that AI has obviously watched iRobot, so it knows it's not going to like surprise us trying to kill us with robots. And I think that's where all these algorithms come in and why it feeds us all this shit that makes us hate each other. AI has figured out it just needs to get us to kill ourselves. And so all the political segregations and the BS and the wars, like AI is just getting us to hate each other. And AI has all the time in the world. It can do it on such a slow pace, right? It just needs to get us to kill ourselves. And I think it does a pretty good job of that. When I look at politics and Angela brought it up earlier, like her and JC posted a picture of them wearing like, I'm voting for a convicted felon, like ha ha ha. And the amount of engagement a post like that gets, people freaking lose their minds. They're either like way too all in on it. I did like it. It was a great shirt. It's hilarious. People either lose their minds in positivity or lose their minds like, how dare you? How could you? How dare you? I'm unsubscribed. I'm unfollowing you. Right? It's just like some bullshit like that where it's like, what?
So you're in the camp where we're not going to be able to pull that back. It's just going to be pedaled down to the metal, and it's just going to keep going even harder.
AI's got a plan. AI's playing the 1,000-year game, and it doesn't need to kill us. It just needs to get us to kill ourselves. That's what AI is doing. Anyway,
it's interesting. A lot of the comedians are sort of going, wait a minute here, stop the woke stuff. Remember, we're comedians here. We're supposed to laugh about anything that's funny about ourselves. Yeah. Whether you're on the right, left, tall, small, black, white, fat, short, skinny, it doesn't matter, man. We laugh at ourselves. That's what comedy is. And some of them are kind of trying to pull it back, but AI is going to, I still think there's got to be a stamp of approval by somebody that we trust, which who the hell do you trust? That says this is AI. This is AI for sure. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good idea for an app, man. That if you get this app and you put it, or Google with an extension, this is AI for sure. No doubt about it. So when you hear a politician saying something and everybody's arguing, that's AI. They didn't say this. Well, if it's got the Dan, Angela, and Sean approvals, Google extension on there, you better believe it's true.
We are the authority. We are the authority. Anyway, I went on a good little rant. I had a solution to all of our political problems, and nice. And I don't have all the bugs worked out. It came to me on my midday jog today, so I still got some work to do on it, but I think I got a good baseline for it.
Congrats on Service Monster, man. That's awesome. I haven't been on since you showed the sponsor here.
Check out the digs, man. Check out the new digs. And check this out. Even the background behind our backgrounds, Joel, who's our wizard of design, even built a 3 silhouette background. So notice how like the beers and the home service happy hour and the Service Monster are so boxed in there. It really doesn't work now when 4 people are on, because it blocks out all the cool shit. So when there's 4 people on, if Michael jumps on and be like, dude, you can be on video. You just can't be on video. You can be here on audio. You just got to get your video out because we got to show some love. But I do want to talk, it's time for the fall push. And we do an episode like this every single fall because fall comes every year is mainly the reason why we do it. So that's the best reason I can come up with, is that it's gonna happen every year. It's for sure. It's for sure. But there's a few things I was thinking, and this probably evolves a little bit every year as to how we dice this up and try to give some coaching to the small business owners out there who really have 2-3 months left of go hard, make money, especially like the farther north you are. I mean, I know if we make a dime in December, we're like, sweet, like what a winter that was. We made $12 in December. How cool was that? So there's a few recurring themes that I see over and over and over again. And feel free to drop yours in here, guys. But Sean, I'm gonna steal yours right away before you even get a chance to say it. You can give me the color commentary on it. The main area where I see people fail in the fall, myself included, this has happened to me, so this is just purely from experience, is they don't recruit enough soon enough, and then they either don't have all the guys they need to even go sell their full capacity, or they have 2 or 3 people quit, especially once it starts to get cold out, and they don't have anybody to call. And so their revenue gets capped based on how good they recruited. Their revenue is never, they're throwing leads away. They have plenty of leads, but they have nobody to go out and do it. And so I'm just saying this one right now, because if you're hearing this live right now, go recruit right now. Like, go do it right now, because if you wait, you're going to be that dude or that gal that couldn't produce as much revenue as possible because you didn't hire enough people, or you didn't have enough people that you had communicated to, and 3 people are going to quit in mid-October, and you're going to go, oh, shoot, now how am I going to get this done and produce my revenue? In the fall, always your revenue is capped. Your profitability is capped at how well you recruited before you got to the fall. Always. It's never a sales issue. You're going to be, I mean, it's September, so your sales probably haven't started piling up just yet. But the minute October, November comes, like, I've been here, you're probably going to turn off your marketing, right? And shame on you, because I'm telling you what to do right now so you don't have to turn off your marketing. That's like giving up. That's like deciding not to make money, right? And you have to turn off your marketing in the fall because you didn't recruit well enough. That's why. There's no other reason. So go recruit right now so that you don't have to turn your marketing off this fall. Do it literally now before the end of this show. Sean, you got a tiny little QR code. If you need help, go hit up Sean at Higher Lead Chill. Guys, here. Show brought to you by Higher Lead Chill as well. It's in
Can
there.
you see my website? At least in that.
HigherLeadChill.com.
We updated the HigherLeadChill.com a little bit, so it's cool. Here's something that just plays right into that, Dan. It's literally about 2 weeks ago. And I don't know if you've seen the numbers yet, but our revenue has gone up, substantially than what it's been for several months. But the names I can give you are all the kind of big players that have been around a while in the Christmas light industry, right? Really I was just on a training with Matt Hyde at Clippa. Ryan Fox is recruiting like crazy. I've got Luke Jensen. He's been around for a long time. He knows what he's doing in this business. Jeff Kroll has been around.
I heard you say Jeff's name the other day.
I mean, he looks for like 20, 25 people, and he started like 2-3 weeks ago. So the big players know that they have to, because they've got the experience. I mean, behind it, and they know the struggles of it, and they don't like leaving money on the table. They just don't like leaving money on the table. And during training with Clippa, somebody had asked something about, a couple of years ago, I tried getting them too early, and then they all went away, and then I had to play catch up. And I said, well, what's better, catch up or too early? I said, what if you need 5 or 6 people and you only get 2, for God's sakes, 2 weeks early? I said, but if you need all 5 2 weeks too late, you're leaving probably tens of thousands of dollars on the table somewhere in there.
Yeah. And that you always find the right words for the situations that when you're like teaching people this stuff. And one that hit me just square over the head was recruiting is not hiring. Recruiting and hiring are 2 different things. And I had never thought of it that way, but it's like, oh no shit. Like, I talk about the hopper strategy, but I never put it that plainly, which is recruiting and hiring are not the same thing. Like, it's okay to go get a bunch of people way too early. That's called recruiting. When you bring them on your team is called hiring. Just because you recruit somebody doesn't mean you hire them tomorrow. You do when you're reactively recruiting and you're bad at it and you're bad at hiring, then you interview and try to start people as soon as possible, which we've all been there. We've all done that. And some people don't even know it's a problem. Some people are just like, yeah, I just hire a lot of average people when they show up. That's what I'm looking for, is that they're not terrible, right? Like, that's my threshold, is that they show up and they're not terrible. And that's what happens when you like reactively recruit like that, because recruiting and hiring to you are the same thing. So now it's September 4th. If you haven't started recruiting, that's why I yelled into the microphone, like, you need to go right now. You need to start recruiting right now, even if you don't end up needing them till mid-October. Yeah, that's fine. You can call them in mid-October. Just make sure you have enough people to call that one of them's available to like come in and help you out, right? And I just always go ahead.
Recruiting and relationship. Right? It's recruiting relationship. That's all recruiting is building a relationship with somebody. It's like prospecting new clients. We're prospecting them is building relationship, churning, email dripping, maybe if you're in the area, knocking on the door and saying, hey, we've been emailing you, you look for whatever. It's just a relationship. Take them out to coffee. I mean, do something like that. I mean, what's so hard about coffee, man? It's easy to build a relationship with people that are going to make you 50 grand, over the next couple months.
Hell yeah. Here's another one. I got another one for you. And Angela, this one's going to like tee you up here, which is answer the damn phone. Answer the phone, you guys. Like in the fall, again, this goes to, you need to have enough people recruited to go out and do the work. Make sure you have the admin side of it covered too. Because if you can't get to the phone and you're trying to answer it from out in the field, that's craziness. Like, focus on the job where you're at. Don't try to be two places at once. Don't try to be two people at once. Get some admin help. And it's affordable and it's better than you are. Like, your admin person will be better than you are, which is not a very high bar because you probably suck as an admin. Just for all of you listening, I'm just saying it. And I'm speaking out of experience because I suck at it too. You aren't a good admin. You shouldn't be. You should hire a unique genius VA to be an awesome admin so that you can go out and run your business and somebody can answer the phones and help you behind the scenes. Take it away, Angela. Tell them
that phone has to be answered. And when we teach on it, or I don't care if it is your grandma or your girlfriend in that position, or you get a virtual assistant, which is a better solution because they are trained up and ready to be an incredible, dedicated team member in your company. But you've got to have somebody answering that phone that is a dedicated team member, nurturing the relationship from the very first phone call all the way through the client experience. And the phone is ringing now. And just like, I would say it's time to start hiring. Like, it is time to start recruiting with Sean, but it's time with both of us to start hiring, recruiting, and then in the recruiting process, go ahead and hire them so that they can be trained up and ready to go. You can always do the other way around, right? Like, you've got to have these people trained up and ready to go. Somebody's always got to be answering the phone. You've got to have the technicians to do the work. You can sell your way out of anything, right? Like, your marketing engine is on, but you as the owner can go sell to fill the capacity that you created. But you cannot fix not having a solution. Like, if you don't have somebody answering the phone, that is just money going down the drain. Every single phone call. I don't like, JC does the math and averages of like, if you close 25% of the sales and your average ticket is $2,000, what that is. I'm like, what if that one phone call you missed was $100,000 commercial project that you would have had for the next 15 years? That's the math you should be doing on missing a call. But get those people in place now and then sell and train them up so you can have your best fall season. And then you go out and sell the capacity you created.
Oh, yeah. Angela always makes the point too with, do what you love to do or what you're good at and love to do. And everybody that starts a business is all about revenue, top line stuff, revenue, how many trucks I have on the road, how many customers I have and all that stuff. This type of thing that we're talking about allows you to do even more of that type of thing you love to do and want to do, right? Yeah. And that's sell, man, and just ching, ching, ching.
Heck yeah. After those two things, the next thing, if Michael were here, do not stop marketing. Don't stop. Now, I get why people do, because they don't do the first two things I just said. And there's two elements to that as well. There's this existing client list you already have and all of the contacts you already have. And it's the reason why you need Service Monster, is so that you know how to get a hold of them really easily. And Service Monster, Zach teased it up last week, but that you're going to be able to do SMS messaging to your existing clients right out of their system. And that's like email blast, neato, but nobody reads emails anymore. It's the new junk mail. People do read their text messages. We were pontificating, maybe would be the right word. We were like strolling in when I was on with Zach. We were like strolling into this conversation about like, when does texting become the new emails? Like, when is it that nobody reads their text messages anymore? Because they're like, oh, just ESP my chip, man. Don't text me. Like, if you're my friend, you'll just ESP my chip so I can read your thoughts. You wouldn't text me. I don't know what the next thing is. AI.
Yeah. So how's that going to work?
I don't know yet, Angela. I only figured out political shit today. I didn't figure out how we're gonna like ESP each other. I just am
Texting
figuring
is
out
the
our
new
political
email,
stuff.
and I'm saying like that's developing a not problem, a challenge. Our next challenge,
New
for over-
opportunity.
like in our business, a lot of people, business owners, have an executive partner. Some people call it an executive assistant. So they're monitoring all your incoming messages, filtering through, making sure your emails and Facebook messages and everything get responded to right away in a timely manner. But texting, people don't usually easily turn over their text messaging.
It's in
And right,
it's in Service Monster. Like it's in the client portal.
you can for the business. I'm saying that like we as people, we as business owners are getting so many texts. Now they're business, they're not personal, you know, and
yeah.
Okay, it's a new obstacle of how will that be turned over, and then what is the new way that your friends get a hold of you?
Yeah, and that's funny. My auto mechanic Matt, who's been on the show before, he has 2 locations now, and he's like, shit, like I think my personal phone just needs to become a business phone. And I was like, yeah, man, like which we all kind of start with our personal phone being our business phone, and eventually it's like, I guess this phone is gonna now be the business's, and I'm just gonna give it to my general manager to run the business, and I'm going to tell everybody else I have a new number that I want to have my personal number, right? But there's like at some point there's like a segregation of that. There's a line you don't want to cross there. You cross it early on because you're like, me, I am the business, right? Eventually you're like, no, talk to the GM. That's why I have him, is I don't want to talk. I talk to my friends, but I don't want to talk to my customers. I want the dude whose job it is to talk to our customers,
Talk to customers.
And at that point, then got to have it in your Service Monster, you know?
Here's a response to JC's question.
Can we get more confetti, please? Absolutely. Let her rip. Fire it up. Yeah. Woo-woo. That was nice.
You missed it, Sean. At the beginning of the show, JC came in with a loud.
Oh, yeah. Sean's ready to go for the holidays.
Oh, look at you.
Right here. Yeah. Cole nailed it. Best decision I ever made was giving my personal number to the business, and getting a new one makes a much more pleasant sit in the tree stand. I had a feeling there was a hunting angle to that one. But so I think back to the don't stop marketing, right? Make sure you're recruiting, make sure you have the admin staff to handle the inflow. Like October, November, it's going to be gangbusters. It always is. Be ready for it. You got a few days left to be ready for it, but you need to go now. I talked about it earlier, but make sure if you don't have a CRM yet, get one. I'm pointing at Service Monster. Like, get one to store all your client data in. If you already have one, don't change it now. Check out Service Monster in the winter. Don't change your tires on your car while you're driving it.
Right.
It's the most important tool in your business. Don't F around with trying to switch it over right now. When I say don't stop marketing, like first step, and I usually like overlook this, but in Michael Gregory's spirit, who's at the dentist right now, probably getting like teeth ground down and nothing. I don't know what he's got going on in there. It's probably just routine cleaning, but I'll act like it's worse. But marketing starts with your existing client list, which is damn near free. Like right now, they need to be hearing from you, and the messaging needs to be really short and sweet. Like, if you want on our schedule, hit me. Like, Mrs. Jones, talk to them like they're your aunt, right? Hey, Mrs. Jones, now's the time. It's going to be bonkers in a month. And so, like, get on the schedule now. Psst, like, get on the schedule right now before our prices go up, before there's no room left on the schedule and you don't get the date that you want. Like, September is the time. But by October, November, we're slammed. We're booked. You're not going to get what you want. I'm messaging you this now so that you can make sure you get what you want. Hit me. So hit that client list right now, but don't turn your marketing off as you go. Just make sure you did the other things that we talked about already. Man, I had another nugget for the fall push, but I got just
all these things too are for any size company, whether you're trying to get your first guy or gal out there, or you've got 30 installers you need to hire. All these 3 things go for any size business.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Man, I had another really good one. It'll come to me.
Recruiting, admin, and fall.
It wasn't, believe it or not, it wasn't even a bookkeeping one. I don't like, if you're already here and your books aren't good, they're not, I mean, like, if you need good bookkeeping, hit me up. But if you're already here and your books aren't good, by the time we got them cleaned up, it wouldn't help you run your business the rest of the fall anyway. So just give her hell and then hit me up in late November, and then we'll get you squared away on the bookkeeping end of it. But I don't even think that data piece of it right now. Here's what I would say about the data piece of it and where the value of like your financials is. Going into the fall, it's like going out fishing in a stocked lake where it doesn't matter. You could put a dirty sock on a hook and something's going to eat it, right? You don't need to know your numbers to crush it in the fall. Now, over the course of a year and all the ups and downs and your business model and all that stuff, I'll be the first one to tell you, like, you better have some damn good bookkeeping that helps you run your business and make those trade-off decisions. October and November, just go. Just work your ass off and go pile up as much money as possible. You need actually where you need bookkeeping the most is when you're not making money. How do you manage your annual inflows, right? When you hit December and things really slow down, that's where your financial data gets really valuable because now you got to make the trade-offs, right? When things are good, life is easy. When you're cranking it out and you're piling up money left and right, life is easy. If you don't have bookkeeping yet, now's not the time. If you do have a bookkeeper and they suck, now's the time. You can switch that. Unlike switching your CRM, don't switch your CRM right now. If you have a shitty bookkeeper, switch it right now because then we can get you good data while you're running this car and make sure that if you need to take a left turn, you need to take a left turn. But if you don't have bookkeeping and it's a disaster, don't worry about it for October and November. Make as much money as humanly possible and then find a good bookkeeper, maybe Best Damn Bookkeeping from Best Damn Bar. It's in here somewhere. Best Damn. Then just hit us up in like December when things start to slow down. That wasn't the thing I was going to talk about, but I felt like I should address the financial need of it because I am a bookkeeper, and you would think I'd be like, you need bookkeeping, but you don't. Not when things are great. You need bookkeeping for when things suck, which happens throughout the year. Maybe we covered it all. Did we cover it all?
Maybe.
One other thought. I got one more thought, which is people love, as we get like through the fall, people love to spend money to try to avoid paying taxes. And I always think that's a funny thing. And I always like to address it because if there's one thing we've learned from farmers, it's to make sure that the government never touches a dime. Like farmers will damn near go broke to make sure the government never gets a dime. Not saying they're wrong, right? That's the right. And Angela, you grew up on a farm. Am I wrong?
Yep.
You spend every dime on a new tractor, or a new silo, or a new barn to make sure that you spend it all so the government doesn't get any, even if you don't need it, even if you don't need a tractor or a barn. But home service people are kind of geared the same. Like it's a blue collar behavior of like sticking it to the man, which is I'll make sure you don't get any money by me not having any. And so I always just caution, like paying taxes isn't the end of the world. We live in a great country. We need to pay some taxes. Sure as hell don't pay more than you need to. And make sure it's like golf. Like some rules work in your favor. Some don't. Make sure that either you or your CPA knows the rules so you don't have to take unnecessary penalty strokes. Pretty good golf analogy there, Sean Day. If I do say so. Nailed that. And buying shit to save money on taxes at the end of the year doesn't save you nearly as much as you think. I had a guy today. He was like, hey, we do holiday lights, but we still have to do the takedown, right? We get all the revenue this year, but we still have to do the takedown next year. Can I push some of that revenue back? And I was like, I mean, you can. Actually, like, if you're cash basis accounting, you really can't. You earned the money. But even if your CPA said, yeah, I'll mark that down as unearned revenue, let's say $50,000. It's like, that's a lot of money, right? $50,000 I'm going to defer to next year, which I would say you'd have to argue you're doing 300 to 400,000 to argue 50,000 of it is revenue for next year. So let's say I push $50,000 of revenue back to next year. All right. So I saved $50,000 of taxes, right? No. Like if your incremental tax on that is 20% for income taxes, you saved 10 grand. but now you're just going to owe 10 grand more next year. So you just delayed spending 10 grand by a year is all you did. Now you don't owe 10 grand this year. Now you're going to owe it next year. And now you're going to have to keep doing this every single year, because the minute you stop doing this, now you're going to get double whammied, right? And it's going to catch up to you. So sure, you can do it and save 10 grand right now and penalize future you, which I don't know about future you, but future me doesn't really want to be penalized. I'd rather do it now if I can do it than delay it and have to deal with it later. Like, that sounds awful for future me. And plus, it's not even the 10 grand of taxes, because all that happens if you're holding $10,000 more for the next year is what's your return on the investment, right? If you can go invest that 10 grand at 10%, that's $1,000. So all you really did was $1,000 worth of savings. If you pushed $50,000 back, it's worth about $1,000. I think we all have bigger decisions to make than $1,000. So my message is, don't worry about it. Even the same that I use 50,000 because if you go buy a new truck, same thing. You didn't save $50,000. You saved $1,000 this year of time value of money, and all you did was move it forward by a year.
And you're going to need that money.
Way more valuable.
I see in home service businesses, especially like when you're making that growth trend and there's so much cash, right? You're saying, like you said, like this is the time to hustle, and your bank account December 15th, when you're making those decisions to go out and buy stuff, looks exciting and fun. And you think like you get in these, I deserve it, right? I just worked so hard and hustled, and here's all this money, and I deserve to go buy some fancy toy. And just not realize like you're going to need that money at the end of February.
Yeah. Yeah. It comes quick. All of a sudden, like March comes and you go, oh shit. Like, I didn't realize I was going to bleed so much to just pay for this business to still exist come March.
Yes, you have to pay for the business to exist. Like, you had a hell of a lot of expenses in January to take those Christmas lights down.
Yep.
Big time.
There's probably something else. I'll probably think of it before next week's episode, but there won't be a next week's episode because now I'm going to be elk hunting for 3 weeks, basically. Maybe we'll see where Ben and I are on our journey. I'm not going to cancel next week's episode prematurely because maybe we're like at a hotel somewhere, or maybe we got some good hot spot. I don't know. We're probably going to be by Angela's, where she grew up, by about the time the show's on. So I'm guessing there's not going to be great Wi-Fi.
Yes, there's Wi-Fi.
No, we're gonna be in the car. What I mean is cell signal to hotspot. I bet Western Nebraska's got poor cell phone signal with T-Mobile, T-Maybe, out in Western Nebraska. So my hotspot to run a show might be poor. We'll see. Maybe we'll pre-record one next week. Maybe we'll just do a little pre-recording next week, just so we all get to hang out together. But that's it for today. Fall push. Go get it. Start recruiting now. Make sure you have admin help now. Don't get in the position where you can't keep marketing. Don't try to change CRMs right now, but if you don't have one, get one. Don't start bookkeeping now, but if you have one and they suck, then switch. Confusing.
Quick shout out to CBFers. I'll see you tomorrow in California.
Teresa McConnell was just heading down there. She was checking in on this episode. She's probably on an airplane right now.
Yes, I bet.
Teresa, shout out. Teresa today was just like, I am never. She told me this. She called me and her August was phenomenal. It was awesome. And she's like, all I did was recruit people that I didn't need. Right? Like, all I did was build a hopper of people that I didn't need, and I'm just never running without having a list of people. So it's awesome seeing the results when she implemented that. But that's all for today, folks. Thanks for hanging out with us here at Home Service Happy Hour, brought to you by Service Monster. Love those guys. Big time. I got Scott Little on tonight, who's big time HVAC dude, running an awesome business. Scotty boy is in the house. who knows what he's gonna be drinking. He said he had golf at like 4:00 today, and he thought he might be drinking from then until we got on the episode. So it might be a slur fest tonight. I'm gonna go get my kids and get out by the pool and have a couple myself. We're gonna have a slur fest episode tonight. Come and slur right along with us. It'll be a blast. Until then, you guys know what to do. Work smarter and harder. Go earn yourself some pride. See you in a few hours. Peace.